Welcome to another episode of In and Around Pleasant Hill podcast with Alex Khodadad. I'm really excited today. We have our guest, Nicole Sierra, and today she's going to be talking about the importance of personal branding. Guys, do me a favor. Make sure that you share this podcast and tell your friends about it. Subscribe to our podcast. Leave a comment. Leave a 5-star review on. We really appreciate it. And now we're going to dive right into it. So again, this is episode number 13. I can't believe it. You know, it's been a little bit over 3 months now, Nicole, and we're already at episode number 13. I'm really excited about this. So let's just dive right into it. Tell us a little bit about you, your background to start out with, please.
Okay, so thank you so much for having me on. And a little bit about me. I graduated from college back in 2017. My senior year, I'm from Connecticut, so I actually did an internship in California. So I lived in Los Angeles for like 6 to 8 months, I believe, and I was in school full time. I was working full time at my internship, and that's when I originally fell in love with social media. I really didn't know what I wanted to do at the beginning. My dad, he really wanted me to go into business, so that's what I originally went to school for. Ended up switching after a year. I was like, numbers is not my thing. I realized I was a creative. And then once I was in LA, I had a job in social media, and I was like, whoa, like this is a job, like this is amazing. It's so fun. I get to be creative. It was just like a light bulb moment for me. So after college, my first job was at a Fortune 500 company here close by to home. I was super excited about it. I was like, wow, the big company, can't wait for the Christmas party. It really wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So I actually got another job at a smaller scale company. It was more of like a startup. And I love that because I was able to wear multiple hats. I learned so much being at that company. I met you at that company. I made so many connections. I built so many relationships. And honestly, it was just amazing. I really did learn so much. And then after being there for, I believe, 2 years, maybe a little bit more, I just knew that social media was my thing, my passion. Like it's just what I'm good at. So I wanted to kind of branch off and start my own business, my own agency, and work with multiple different clients opposed to just having one client. Um, so that's what I did, and that's kind of how I got to where I am today. And now I have my own business. I've been doing this for full time almost 2 years, but part time. When I actually started working with you, I was part time. So in total 3 years, full time 2 years, and yeah.
Yeah, the power of personal branding, social media, obviously, it's exactly that. It's social media. But people try to, when you look at it from the perspective of a business owner, I see, business owners, when they go in there, they don't really look at it as social media. They look at it as marketing media. And to me personally, I think that's just the wrong way to go at it, because for years I used to spend so much money on Facebook ads, and I used to get a ton of leads. I got a lot of people reaching out, but it didn't get anywhere. But then yet, as you know, last year when I created the Facebook group in and around Pleasant Hill Food and Drink, and believe it or not, Nicole, we have over 13,000 members now for a city of 13,000 members, huge. And now I'm like, everybody in town knows me. And it talk about personal branding. They know what I do. A lot of them, they know. And I never mention anything about real estate on that Facebook group. Like you'll never see a open house sign or, hey, I sell real estate. I might stand, there might be a real estate sign behind me, but I don't talk about it. So that perception, or that thing that when these folks that are starting on social media thinking like, I need to get on social media because I need to get customers. You come at it a different angle, right? You come at it as like, look, you need to build your personal branding. Can you get into that and let us know, what does that look like, please?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I love what you just said. I always tell my clients, I'm like, the money will come. that it always comes, it'll follow, but you can't go into things thinking about the money. Like you can't go into social media and say, "Oh, I want to build these connections because I want to make money off people." You have to go and say, "I just want to build these connections because later down the road, they're going to be your clients, especially in a business like real estate." I'm like, someone my age could not be ready to buy a home, but because I'm following you and I just love your personality, you're showcasing me like the real you, you're being authentic. I'm seeing your family, your friends, your barbecues, which is what I see about you. I'm always showing that to my boyfriend. Like now my boyfriend knows who you are with him, like probably not even following you on social media. So it's just really cool because it's really about the connection and you have to go into it thinking about building that personal connection with your audience. So many people are focused on, oh, like I want 10,000, 20,000 followers when really you can have 5,000 followers and make more money than the person who has 10,000 followers because you're building that loyal fan base, that loyal audience that will buy anything from you. If you have 10,000 followers and you try to sell a t-shirt and only 10 people actually, like you and it's like your mom and your cousins, you're not going to make that profit. Opposed to if you're building these loyal relationships with a smaller audience, they're going to be like, "Oh my God, love this person. Like they share, they share this, they share that. I relate to this, I relate to that. They're authentic." They're more likely going to buy your t-shirt and you'll be able to sell it to 100 people versus 5 people out of 10,000 people. So for me, the personal branding is so important. And I think that a lot of people are making that shift now where they used to think, okay, marketing is you have to sell your brand, sell the company name, what you do. And now with influencers and all of those things, it's like, no, no, no. You need to make that connection because then if I wanted to sell a pencil, these people love me, they'll buy that pencil. If I want to sell a t-shirt, now they'll buy the t-shirt too. I can't only sell them one thing because it's about the loyalty and the connection, not the actual product or the service.
Yeah. So Nicole, let us know, where do you start? Like, I mean, if there's someone out there that could be in various different businesses, I mean, obviously it doesn't have to be real estate. It could be in various different businesses. If they want to, get that personal branding out, I mean, like, what are the some do's and don'ts? Like, how do you start?
I would say the first thing you want to do is really figure out who you are and what that message that you want to showcase to others is. That's the most important thing. And I mean, even with me, like you've seen, I've really picked up my social media game. That's something that I thought I knew who my target audience was. And that's another thing, figuring out who your ideal audience is, who your ideal client is, depending on what business you're in. Um, those are so important. And I think that's going to take the longest because once you know who you are, what your brand message is, what your purpose is, and then who you want to speak to, I feel like the content creation side of things is actually the easier side because now you know exactly the type of content you need to create to speak to that certain person. So
That's right.
that's definitely the first thing you need to do is just really figure out who you are, what your brand is, what the message is, what your purpose is. So now you can speak that in volumes to people on social media and figure out who your ideal client is. If you're a real estate agent, they always say niche down, niche down, niche down. So, real estate could be a little bit different because I'm sure you have a wide variety of clients, like younger, older, all different demographics. But for me, if I'm talking about my coaching business that I'm just starting right now, um, I don't want to speak to the masses right now. I want to niche down because I want to be, I know my zone of genius. I know who I relate to, and I'm not going to relate to everybody. And people have to really be their authentic self because you can't relate to everybody. Some people get worried, like, oh, I can't post this because like someone might not like it. Well, that's the whole point of you will attract the right client and you will, push away the wrong clients by being yourself. And you're not going to ever work with someone that you don't like because you're attracting all the right clients by being your authentic self and you're turning away all the wrong ones. If someone doesn't like your content, then they probably won't like working with you. So that's definitely like maybe the second thing is just not trying to please every single person. Just be your authentic self and you will attract the right clients and you will deter the wrong ones.
And I like what you said because a lot of folks they'll say, okay, I want to create a brand. So instead of sitting down and looking themselves and seeing who they are, they try to mimic other people. Well, you can. I mean, I was at fault of that when I first wanted to get into social media. I wanted to mimic other people, but that's their personality. That's not who I am. And I remember when I used to, when I would talk to you and, you said, your social media, make sure it's variety of different things, tell us your story. And and I know some people that don't feel comfortable. They're like, I don't want people to know my personal business. Well, I mean, branding, if you're just going to go in there and all you're going to do is hit pound your chest and say, I'm real estate. I'm real estate. That's all I do. People are going to tune you out. I mean, it's different than, let's say, if you're doing makeup, that's something that, people, or if it's food, but when it's real estate, it's like, you're going to get tuned out. And it's like, that's why, we follow each other, and you see how I do it. It's like, I've taken your advice from the past. Like, there'll be something about my family, like, or the cook off with my father-in-law, or there'll be me with my son in gymnastics, and then I'll have something real estate. And then there'll be 4 different things that have nothing to do with real estate. And I know that some people would argue and say, but wait a minute, your audience is going to get confused. But then again, like what you just said yourself too, you want to attract the right people, and you want to, have the wrong people not be a part of it anyways. I mean, I don't see how they could be confused. I mean, my life from the morning till night is not real estate. I do other things, right? I'm going to be speaking this month at the Advance. I do that for coaching, and then I'm doing something with my son, going camping or whatever. So that's why I like what you said. You got to find out who you are, which unfortunately a lot of us will go a lifetime and never know who we are, and we can't figure that out. You got to know who you are, and then just go with that. I mean, is that correct?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, just because I think that social media, one of the main reasons that I love this industry so much is because it's ever changing. So there's always something new, always something, coming out. Even just a simple update on Instagram could be a game changer for so many people, like Reels, like we just saw in this last year. So I definitely think that times have changed, and right now it used to be, yes, only about the business, the brand. Like everyone used to say, have a business page, the personal page. Now, like more than ever, I think, especially because of COVID, like people really want to build that connection. They want to be entertained, they want to be educated, and they want to be inspired. Like those are the 3 pillars that almost every content creator will tell you need to be fulfilling when you're creating content. So the education one could be the real estate stuff. And again, there's so much that goes into social media. Like it's a full-time job, and there's so much. But just to touch on what you said about only talking about real estate and people getting bored, you can make it personal. Like instead of just posting just sold with the address on it, share the story behind that photo. You can use the same photo and post it, but there's a difference if you just post the price you sold it at and the address, or posting the story of the couple you randomly met at a bar one day or at a restaurant, or posting the story behind that. People are going to be like, wow, that's like a good story. Like they're going to be intrigued by it. Or turn it into a video, get on video and say, oh my god, just closed on this home and blah blah blah, and tell the story. So there's a big difference when it comes to how you relay a message. You can have the same photo and engage and attract so many more of your followers just by doing it differently and really telling the story behind it. And I think that we're really shifting into like a storytelling app on Instagram, and same with Facebook too. Like people like the story. They don't just want to see a post that says just sold on it. They want to know more behind it. Otherwise, they will get annoyed and they will get bored of it.
Yep, that's right. Absolutely. I remember I heard a quote. I heard a quote almost 20 years ago. It said, facts, fact tells, story sells. Like people want to hear a story. Like last week, I did a webinar to a whole, hundreds of realtors across the country. And my title was Be the Honey, Not the Bee. Like be the honey, have them want to come to you versus you, just like the biggest turnoff that I hate now, Nicole, is if I see somebody trying to be friends with me on Facebook, and I might click on it and say, okay, fine, because I see them that they know a lot of friends that I know. And the minute they become my friend, not even a day later, they're already sending me stuff. Hey, I got a great opportunity that I want to be I mean, like, don't do that.
Yeah, no,
Don't
you
do
have
that.
to build a relationship first.
I don't know who you are. Don't do that. Like, I mean, it's like it's very, this whole thing about be the honey. it's very, very important. If you just come out aggressive and I don't even know who you are and you're already trying to sell me, that's going to be a big turnoff. And the good old saying that says nobody wants to be sold to, but everybody wants to buy, right? Nobody. I mean, you just got to know how to connect with people, and the way you do that is with branding. Now, Nicole, what do you tell to those folks that say, Nicole, I'm not comfortable in front of a video. I don't want to make video. I don't want to do a reel. If I do reel, people think I'm a clown or whatever. Like, what do you say to those folks that don't want to do video, don't want to be funny, and they want to be serious on videos? What do you tell to them?
I think that social media, everyone's really different on social media. So you can have, like earlier we were talking about, like, not copying someone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's always going to be people that copy you no matter what. You can't, the better you do, the more people are going to want to copy you. That's just the way it is. And I think that it doesn't really matter to me, because I'm like, we're all very unique people. You and I can say the same exact thing and we have the same exact point. But just because you're you and I me and we both say it so differently, it's going to resonate to different people and it's going to come off a different way because we're all unique. So that message is still going to be so different, even though we're trying to say the same thing. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I agree 1,000%. Yeah. That's why even with acting, you could have an actor play a role, say the same script, and win an Oscar nomination, and another one say the thing and don't win anything. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to that, I just feel like if someone gets nervous being on video, it's definitely something that you can overcome. So like I mentioned earlier, I just started really trying to step up my social media game. I'm sure you've seen, I've been posting a reel every single day.
I love it. I love it.
I do this all day, every day for my clients. Like, this. And I'm always like, you got this, do it, Alex, do it. I got you to try some reels. The second that I got behind the camera, I was like, oh my God, shout out to all of my clients. This is hard. It's not easy. So shout out to everyone who's like on social media, because you guys make it look so much easier than it is. But I think it's like anything else in life, like anything worth having is not going to come easy. So it's definitely something that it's an acquired skill. Like, you have to learn, the first video I ever did, I was so awkward. Like, now it's getting a lot easier and I can try to batch a few in one day. It's definitely just something that over time you can definitely get better at. But I do understand the people that are like, okay, maybe they don't want to do the funny reels. You don't have to do the funny reels. You can do a reel and make it a more serious educational reel. I do a lot of those with my clients too. I take on the more funny thing because that's my personality, but you can be 50, 60, 40, you could be 20 and just be really serious. Like, my boyfriend's a lot more serious than I am. So he can just do a more educational reel and say, hi, like today I want to teach you guys about this in 30 seconds. So whatever you want to do, I think that social media really gives you the different, first of all, you have different platforms. Second of all, you have different formats on each platform. If you want to do a reel, which is a lot shorter, or a story, which only lasts 24 hours, whatever you feel comfortable with, just starting is better than not starting. And I think, like I said, something that's worth it is not going to come easy. And it's a skill that you have to learn. And I think no one can really, even as a social media manager, I can help you as much as possible. But if you really want to build that true personal connection with people, you have to be involved. Because I have clients that'll pay me and they're like, okay, bye, never want to talk to you again. And they pay me every single month. And now I'm, stock photos and stock videos can only do so much. Where's the real connection? How are you doing that? As much as I, tried to write these engaging captions and try to storytell through, there's only so much that you can do through stock photos. So I really, now that I've grown, try to really be selective of who I work with, because I want to see the results. Like, I really want to help people. Like, I want people to go on their social media and be like, whoa, like, I just met 3 new people through social media. Whoa, this person just reached out to me in my community. Like, we went to high school together, never even spoken. Now, because of social media, like, we built that connection. So I'm trying to be more selective on who I work with, because I really see the value and see how you can build like so many relationships. Like, I've built so many friendships and relationships with women that I have not even met yet in person. And I'm, because of COVID and everything, but through social media, through TikTok, through Instagram. And I'm super excited to like finally be able to meet them. So it's like real relationships that you're willing to travel and go meet these people. So it's honestly so amazing. I think that if it's something that you really want to do, It's going to take work, but you can do it. You'll get comfortable over time. The first time's always going to be hard, and it will get easier as you go on.
Yeah, that's true. Now, the platform, we got Facebook, we got Instagram, we got TikTok, we got LinkedIn, we got all these different platforms. So once somebody first they look themselves in the mirror and they say, who am I? What I'm going to do. And then obviously then start doing their branding. Obviously, however they're going to come out but which social media platforms should they heavily target on or be on?
So I think that this is a really good question. I think that it really depends on what the brand is, who the person is, who their target audience is. That's the first thing that you need to do. So when I work with someone, that's the first thing I'm like, hey, as your social media manager, I can't decide like what your brand message is. I can't decide who your target audience is. Once you have that, then you can come to me and I'll say, okay, this is your exact target audience, your ideal client. Let me tell you which platforms I recommend you should be on. So I can kind of speak on like who, what platforms I use for my personal branding and the clients that I have now. It's 100% Instagram is like the number one priority right now is Instagram. I do have a few clients. It used to be Instagram and Facebook, and now it's Instagram, and then now it's like Instagram and TikTok. The growth on TikTok is just like insane. I have a client who 0 to 800, 0 to 700 in like one day from one video. So it just depends, I guess, on the type of business too. I think with real estate, if you really want to leverage referrals and that kind of thing, then TikTok could be good for you as well. But because you're more of a hyper local business, I think there's other ways that you can really leverage your community, because you are in like a hyper local type of business for the most part. Obviously you can do referrals, but I think depending if you have a product-based business where you can sell and ship anywhere, TikTok, because you're reaching people everywhere. You're on the For You page, which is people anywhere. You're not really targeting a specific audience. But I can go on for days about what it is and depending on the business and all that kind of thing. But yeah, I think it really like the top two right now that I would recommend, I guess, to just the general public would be Instagram. And I definitely want to say TikTok, only because you can use all the TikToks, like you can repurpose your content. So you can send over all of those TikToks that you made and use them as reels, which is also getting a lot of reach right now, way more than what your follower count is, because the algorithm's pushing it because it's a newer feature. So that's definitely.
You're right about that, because I remember when you told me, you're like, Alex, you need to make a couple of these reels, and I had Tanaz help me. And then I went in the back end, we had like 600 views. I'm like, are you serious? I was like, wow, like for me though, and I like what you said, like for me, Facebook has been really good, but then again, my audience is a little bit different. And I've been penetrating into Instagram also too, but most of my clientele for me, it's been Facebook. So that's a really good point where someone can just say, okay, I'm going to go Instagram. They got to look at their audience, who their audience is, and then focus on that, right? Like if you have a millennial audience or if you have a Generation X and like different, baby boomers. So you just have to kind of look at which audience you have and kind of go with that. Is that correct?
Yeah, because I mean, even in your business, I feel like right now, because we're in a seller's market, or at least here we're in a seller's market, who's really selling? Like who has all the houses right now? Do you know what I mean? Like people my age are just starting to buy houses, buy real estate. So it's like that audience for selling is going to be on Facebook. Opposed to if it was a buyer's market, you're like, I need to be on Instagram, where like the young millennials looking to buy, first time home buyers, whoever you like working with, depending again on your business, who your ideal client is, then that's kind of how you will know which platform you need to be on.
Right. Nicole, what about the content? You said something earlier. You said you need to focus on educational, inspirational, and what was the other one?
Educational, inspirational, and entertainment.
Entertainment. So these three, right? And the problem is some people will just go on and all they'll do is just educational, right? And you want to have all three. But beside educational, like when you say educational, inspirational, entertainment, is your personal life in there too, or are all those three related to that product or whatever you're trying to
No,
sell?
yeah. So that's just going to be like kind of like an easy way to map out three things that you want to hit, and it's going to be, you're also going to have content pillars. So those pillars would be like your family, your real estate, whatever mix of content you want to have. So that's where you would pull in like your family, your real estate, maybe your passion, a hobby, whatever that is. So I work with someone who loves like bourbon. So their hobby, their entertainment is like always posting like him at one of the bars in town, having like a bourbon and like rating them. So that's his like fun entertainment thing. But his educational thing is his mortgage side of things. So he can say, like teaching about mortgage, what's going on, talking about the rates, just educating people really quickly. It doesn't need to be boring, but he's still educating and like giving value to people. So that's something you always want to do too, is make sure you are giving value. Like so many people want to like hide the secret sauce, they don't want to share, they don't want to do this. And I guess it really depends what your ultimate goals are, but you want to be seen as the expert in your field, like really showcase your zone of genius. So that's going to come with just giving the goods away. Like you want to not hide the secret sauce, not hide that. You want to showcase that. You want to show that like show everything that you do, because so many people, like when you go to these like networking conferences and stuff like that, to see the big guys like Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, whatever, the number one thing they say is only 1% of everyone here is actually going to go home and apply everything that we just learned.
Yeah.
So that's the way that you have to think about social media. Like, don't ever feel like you're giving the goods away, you're doing this, you're doing that, because 1% of people are actually going to go and implement everything that you do, because it's work, it's hard work. Like
It is. It is.
when they said that at the conference, I was like, oh my god, I need to be that 1%. Like I need to go and like put in the work. So yeah, I think social media is definitely like really complex and stuff, but I think that there's a lot of benefits to having social media.
It's all about coming from contribution,
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people that try to start Facebook groups and they couldn't be successful because they came at it the wrong angle. They came at it as like, what is it going to do for me versus like, let
Yeah.
me contribute, let me give. And I learned that from Zig Ziglar. He wrote a book and he said, serve to as many people, get what they want, and you'll get what you want. So now your big focus is Instagram and TikTok. Like, how do you build that audience really quickly inside of Instagram? Like, let's hear your little secret sauce now. Like, what do you do? Is the magic hashtags? And like, let's say you've already got it all figured out. You're creating entertainment videos, inspirational videos, educational videos. You've got the reel, you got everything going. How do you build that audience?
Well, so one of the things that I have to say is there's no like magic trick to growing on Instagram. I mean, there's no magic trick, because it really just depends. You can post 100 videos and it'll get 10 views, and then you post one video and that'll be the video that will get you 1,000, 2,000, like all these followers, right? So even for one of my clients, we've posted videos, and so that's where consistency is really key. Like if there's anything, like the magic sauce in social media is staying consistent. And it's so hard because sometimes you're like, oh my god, like this video that I just spent an hour filming got like 100 views, and the one that I spent 5 seconds filming got like 4,000 views. So
I know.
even with my dogs, like I film like a funny video of my dogs and it's 5,000 views, and then I like work so hard to film a video and it's like 300. And I'm like,
and you're sitting there for 2 hours editing it and everything, right?
yeah. So I mean, that's definitely a tip I would give to people, is less is more.
Yeah.
Consistency is key. And like I said, it's an ever-changing industry. It used to be like, oh my god, high quality, high this, you need a videographer, you need all of this. No, you don't. Your phone shoots in 4K now, and stop making excuses of why you're not on social media. Pull out your phone. If you have a phone, you're good to go, and just start recording yourself, because you really do not need to be shooting, on like a $2,000 camera. Like you don't need all that stuff. There's so many influencers that I follow who are huge, like 1 million followers and they still shoot their content on their phone. I mean, at 1 million followers, I'm like, okay, girl, now you can upgrade. But it's not about that. It's because they're like on stories. They're like, really just building that connection. They're doing it the right way. But the magic sauce, secret sauce is just consistency, because I've seen it so many times where even for me, I was like, oh my God, like I've been posting reels every single day. My engagement is certainly up because there's more content, there's more stuff people can engage with, but like my followers aren't growing as fast, obviously, as I want them to. But it's consistency, because then the last week, I think like 2 or 3 days ago, I posted a video, boom, 5,000 views in like the first 10 minutes. And I was like, oh my
Wow.
God. And that's when you see the followers coming in, and then it stops. Then I posted the video of I think there's one of my dog, and that's when like the followers started coming through. So it's really consistency, because even if you don't see like a big lump of followers come in a month, then it's like the next month you might get 100 in a day. It just really depends, and
Yep.
that's kind of the beauty of it, especially right now on Reels and TikToks, because they're like evergreen content. Before, you posted something on Instagram and it was like after that day you're never seeing it again. Same with
That's right.
Facebook. But
That's right.
now the algorithms are changing and it's like
Yep.
evergreen content. It's almost like YouTube, because
Yep.
your videos can pop up at any time. I always forget to go back and check my videos, and I'm like, whoa, when I posted this, like I checked for 2 days and it only had like 300 views. Now I'm like, this has 6,000 views, but I'm like, this just happened like a week ago, and this is a really old video. So um it's evergreen content. The way the algorithm works, it'll
Yep.
post old ones, like
And
it'll
I
show
think
people the old ones.
and I think social media, I think Facebook and Instagram, I think they do that on purpose to keep us on our toes. It's like they're constantly they want to make sure that we don't master it, because the minute you think you got it down, then they come out with something totally different. Like back in the days, they said you need to have a business account. Now you need to have their personal account. Like they're constantly changing things around. So you just like you said, you just got to be consistent and just go
Yeah.
forward. So with the few more minutes we got left, you do a lot of work for me. I love what you do. You take care of all our podcasts, and I've been very happy with you. But for folks that want to get started but they're still confused and they need someone to help them, to hold their hand, to be able to go from A to Z. First of all, if they wanted to follow you on social media, you want to give that out, and also like what it is that you do for them and how they can get hold of you, please.
Okay, yeah. So my Instagram, you could follow my personal account. My handle is at Nicole A Sierra. Um, and my website for my business is jcqsocialmedia.com. And what we offer right now at JCQ is complete social media management from A to Z. So whether you just need the strategy and you want to implement it yourself, or you need someone to come up with that strategy and implement it for you, create your content, edit your videos, videography, whatever that is, graphic design. We do everything social media A to Z, from execution to scheduling your social media content, posting your social media content, writing the copy, writing the captions, all of that. So we do complete social media management. And actually, something that I'm launching right now that I'm in the beta stages of is my coaching program, where I'm going to be coaching people on how to really build a personal brand and coaching them through the process of coming up with that brand message, coming up with that ideal target audience, and really figuring out exactly what type of content they need to be creating to speak to their ideal client, and then following through towards the end of the coaching program, really showing them all the tools they need, everything that they can do it themselves, and just coaching them again from start to finish on how they can do everything themselves if they're not ready to invest in full-time social media management. Because sometimes people just need to dip their toes in and see some results for a little bit, and then they'll say, okay, I'll invest in a retainer fee for complete social media management.
Awesome. Awesome. That's wonderful. So and again, so you gave your website so that they can get hold of it. One more time, can you give us your website again, please?
Yes, it's jcqsocialmedia.com, and my Instagram is Nicole A Sierra.
Awesome. Well, Nicole, I want to thank you so much. This was really, I mean, like you said, we could sit here and talk about social media for hours. So, but we're running out of time, and I'm actually going to be taking the kids. We're going to go to to this really fancy schmancy swimming pool We're gonna go have
Oh,
some
that's
fun now.
awesome.
But anyways, Nicole, thank you so much. I appreciate you for being on. Um, so guys, do me a big favor, please. For those of you that have, tuned in, thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe, let your friends know about my podcast. And if you actually watch the video on YouTube, please leave a comment. Thank you guys, and hope to have you guys tune back in our next episode. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.